Touchdown Tampa Bay. You're listening to the PewterCast.
Welcome to the PewterCast live. Holy crap. We got to do this. As our friend Javier says, it's always good for group therapy. I'm Brent Allen, your host. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Ren Daxt.
Hello.
11:45, Ren. This is certainly no stranger for us as far as the time to record a podcast.
Correct.
It is unusual to be starting a live show this late.
Correct.
The Buccaneers have just finished playing this game, and
you are correct. So far, you are knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. unlike a lot of what we just saw out there. Buccaneers lose 20-19 in a battle of the kickers all night long. Some of the I'm not even going to pick on the officiating because
really,
no, I'm not. And you want to know why? Because the offense was so effing sloppy all night long, and there's no excuse for it.
Yeah,
absolutely none.
Yeah, I'm sure, we're going to have plenty of people talk about the officiating. A big play in this game was the Shaq Barrett, roughing the passer because, they didn't score, but they ended up flipping the field. So we ended up getting the ball down by, inside our 20.
Right.
But if they didn't get that 15 yards and the extra 7 yards so they got like another 20, 22 yards. Now we're up at the 40, and you don't mind running the ball 3 times. And when you punt the ball, they got to go like 80 yards. They ended up punting the ball. They were at the 45. They're 45.
Right.
And so that was, that was a big play, even though it didn't directly, correlate to points. But you and I and Stank talked about this just yesterday. Donovan Smith is trash. I can't do it anymore. He's the Jameis Winston of offensive tackles. All the ability in the world just continues to suck.
Yeah.
Just continue to lose your team games.
Right.
The Jensen penalty was dumb. I think it was ticky-tacky.
I think it was absolutely ticky-tacky.
Super ticky-tacky because he didn't headbutt him. I think pass interference penalties on both sides of the ball were terrible. The big one to Carlton Davis probably hurt the most because it's such a terribly thrown ball.
Right.
And, I think I'm going to harp on all week and maybe for the rest of the year is that exhaust port hole in Todd Bowles' defense on the left. If you're the offense, the left-hand side, anytime they bring a blitz, they just flip it out to the left-hand side. And every team since week 1 continue to gash his defense. It doesn't really matter what down it is. It seems to be always on 3rd, and they'll pick up huge chunks of yardage. San Diego did it many times. It was Hunter Henry. Chicago did it like 3 or 4 times tonight. There is a blueprint out there how to beat the Todd Bowles defense, and nothing's being done to cover it up. It is, I know a lot of it's not Alderans. A lot of Alderans died to bring these plans to us. But that exhaust port hole, I don't know what to say.
Just so I'm clear on what you're saying here, is that a Star Wars reference? Ren?
Yes.
The exhaust port hole. That's the exhaust port hole of the Death Star.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a tiny blemish, but it causes the whole defense to implode.
Right.
And something needs to be done about that. Brady was seeing ghosts after a while.
Yeah.
I'm not even blaming Tristan Wirfs on that first sack. I think Brady just Eli Manning'd it. I don't know about the 4th down. I'm going to have to go back and watch it because I looked up and I'm like, it's fourth down already? Really? Did they not? Because I don't remember him spiking the ball. I mean,
no, he didn't. He didn't clock the ball.
And that's what they said on the TV. Well, when you clock the ball, you lose it. I don't remember all 4 downs.
Because here's I was expecting them to clock the ball. And then I said to my son who was waiting with me, I was like, oh, I guess they're going to play the play anyway. And they just played the play anyway. I never saw him clock a ball.
I never saw him, but what were the plays?
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Right.
I cannot answer that question.
Like, I would not be surprised. And I might be set straight, by the end of this pod, but
sure.
Right now I'm still like, you got to show me the 4 plays after the Mike Evans catch, because I don't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, just and then
I mean, they're saying it was an incomplete to Evans, a pass to Vaughn, and an incomplete to Brait, which was that final play, and then Brady was going 4, right? Like,
no, one went off Gronk's hands. But I thought the pass to Vaughn was on first down, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just pulled that out of a chat room over there, so I'm not entirely sure.
We're
gonna have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's not even talk about it, because it's gonna go back and forth, and like until I see it, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I believe you, and then I'm gonna go watch it anyway.
It's a lot of people going, I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. But like not knowing what down it is. It's like what is going on? The offense again turned the ball over that directly went to points on their on their end of the field. Chicago couldn't do anything, and Tampa couldn't get out of their own way. And at one point, when we had the ball like first down on Chicago's 40, and it ended up we were like 3rd and
34.
Yeah. And Brady comes to the sideline, and he just like wake, you got it. Like, I think that, and they said it, like every single play was a penalty on the offensive lineman.
Yes.
Every play. Yes. And, it was just, it's the same crap. Bucs beating Bucs. Like, we should have won that game. They really couldn't do anything. The only time they did move the ball, or what was it, 3rd and long, and they dumped the pass over to the left hand. Like, they threw it in the exhaust port.
Yeah.
And there was somebody there. I didn't like how they kept playing off. They kept playing like they're giving him 7 yards. It looked like Vernon Hargreaves and Brent Grimes out there for a lot of the game.
I noticed that too. In fact, I'm pretty sure the announcers on TV also noticed that. It's like, why are we playing so off? And I got to tell you, this is the first time this year, and I really hoped it would be different with Brady, but this is the first time this year when they got the ball back at the end with 1 minute and 13 seconds or however long it was. Right. And even before that, when they got the ball back, like the series before where they went 3 and out and took like 10 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
There was no part of me that went, this is an offense that can go down the field and score.
Yeah.
They can take 1.5 minutes and go down the field and score. No part of me thought that after watching what I just watched in the 3rd quarter. Maybe if we got what we had in the first half, but not what we just saw in the 3rd quarter. I had zero. I've never had zero confidence in this offense to do anything. And I wasn't really feeling the defense very much either. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just I don't know. Like, I don't know. It was very frustrating.
Yeah.
To say the least, because every time they got rolling on offense, they just started shooting. Like it's like 1st and goal, was it? And then there's a sack,
Yep.
And it was like, it wasn't even, oh God, I'm so sick of that guy.
And then there was, I mean, and to go back to the, I think it was Shaq Barrett got a offsides call on him when their guard clearly was the guy who jumped.
And that led to their first touchdown. That would have made it like 3rd and 17. And they would have not have picked that up, and they would have had to punt.
Clearly their guy jumped. But then, and now the second false start penalty on Donovan Smith, 100% deserved. That first one though, I could not see it. And I went back and I hit rewind on the DVR like 10 times. Never once did I see Donovan Smith move.
Yeah, they never showed a replay of it.
No, they did. But here's what you did see was the Chicago Bears going, oh, he moved. And then the ref, like, it's like he got talked into it almost or something.
They did. They even said that on the broadcast.
It was the most.
It was a poorly officiated game.
It really was. The thing is if the or the offensive line especially, and the offense as a whole would have actually played a clean game, and it was just a poorly officiated game, I'd pick way more on the officials. And a lot of people are going to pick on the officials all week long.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just going to let them do it because the offense still had their issues.
Yeah.
And I don't even mind the Ryan Jensen headbutt because that was a bullshit call. It was not. The other guy was leaning in and like,
Ryan,
yeah, I know.
and all they did was tap helmet. It's not like
it was dumb. It was the dumbest call. Absolute dumbest call. Well, Ren, we are not here to talk about this game by ourselves. As always, here, as tradition, and has been for years, here at the original post-game call-in show for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we have a slew of people. Oh my gosh, record high number in the chat room. It looks like tonight. I could be wrong. It might not be, but it's up there already here for this game. I'd like to say hello to everyone who is joining us live, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're at Facebook, whether you're on Twitter or Periscope or wherever you're watching that from, or even from our own website, the PewterCast.live. Hello to all of you guys. Hello to all of you over in the chat room, whichever chat room you are in. We will try to keep an eye on that and interact with you there as well. And to the many thousands of you who will listen to this on the download podcast tomorrow, hello to all of you guys. Phone lines are going to open up here in just a second. We'll also drop the link in the chat room for anyone who wants to join the video chat. There were so many people who joined the video chat last week because, well, it was their only option if they wanted to talk. But so many people joined last week.
They pulled me out of the fire.
There you go. And well, actually, Ren, I guess why don't we just go ahead and do that? We'll open up the phone lines. You guys want to call in? You do that. I will remind everybody, we do try to keep this to be a PG-13 show. Yes. So call in and talk intelligently, but bring the passion. And bring the okay, I'm not going to go there. But guys, listen, bring it in and do what you got. Ren, we've actually already got a first caller calling in, and I have a curiosity as to who this might be.
The number's not up yet.
Oh, it's coming. That's could be, you know why the number's not up yet? Because people have this number saved in their phones. Caller, you are on the line with Brent and Ren for the PewterCast Live. Who do we got here tonight?
It's Matthew and Alex from UK, but
I thought that might be you, Matthew. How's it going, friend?
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, I've calmed down a little bit, but I was angry 10 minutes ago. I'm not gonna lie, I was angry. You know, it really sucks. It really, really sucks what just happened there. And yeah, man, that wasn't a good game.
No, it was not a good game. It was a good first half. It was a mediocre first half.
Yeah.
But that whole second half of that game was
I'm sure the coaches are going to talk a lot about turning those field goals, you know, red zones into touchdowns, which the Bucs have been very good at this year. But you know, they just kept shooting themselves in the foot, man. Like it was right when you thought I was like, okay, this drive's going to put it together. Something, it'd be a penalty or it'd be a sack or it was very, very frustrating to watch. And then, you know, even you talk about the 16-second drive that, you know, didn't run off any time on the clock. Well, they did it at the end of the first half too. They had a real short drive and Chicago got in field goal range and kicked a field goal to take the lead right before halftime. So, I mean, it just was not a well-played football game. On either side. It was so frustrating. Just frustrating.
I think the big three things for me really were the penalties is obviously the big one. I suppose that's rolled in with the coaching, and then some of the play calling as well, both offense and defense. I felt like most of the second half, especially when it was close, we were playing too soft coverage. I felt like when we were on offense, I didn't think there was anything creative. For about 5 or 6 series, Alex had literally called the first play as a run to the center or run to the right every time. It just so telegraphed every time. There was nothing new, nothing fresh, nothing different about what we were doing. It was just like we had us like they had like, this is how we play football. It's not working, but this is how we do it. This is how we do it in our offense, and we're going to run it until it works. It doesn't work, and there was just nothing ever different about it, and it just felt so frustrating that we just never went to like the main guys. Like you got like, I know Mike's hurt, and I know Gronk's not the guy that he used to be, and I know Cambray hasn't been schemed in, but can we for the life of us get them open when the game matters to try and get 10 yards to get the game moving, like rather than, I don't know, man. It just felt frustrating to me.
It was frustrating. I mean, I'm not going to jump on the play calling. The only really bad play call, I mean, and it wasn't their fault. I mean, every time they run the ball, I thought it worked. I mean, Ronald Jones had over 100 yards, and I thought, just coming into this game, Brent and I said that, through, somebody telling us that their defense was soft at the middle, and they ran it up the middle. They did it all night long. It was a blown block by Tanner Hudson on first down when the defense came up huge and stopped them, and it should have been a little further up because they had to stop him twice, was when Tanner Hudson blew that block and got Rojo for a -2 loss. Now, instead of throwing the ball on back-to-back downs, what I would have done was done some wide receiver screens, like get it up to Mike or something like that. Get when fans talk about and talking pundits talk about extending the short passing game being an extension of the run game. That's what I would have done. It was disappointing because if it's 2nd and 12 and basically the game's on the line. If you get a first down there, and if you don't get another one, you're still going to pit them back. And the way Chicago's, moving the ball, it's going to be hard for them to get there. The offense didn't show up. Like Brady didn't come through, and Brady didn't come through when they got the ball back again. And not knowing what down it is really freaking weird. It was like
that's weird. Yeah,
everything about this game was weird. It was kind of like the Saints game, and it's kind of like everything about the Saints game was weird, and like half of the San Diego game was weird, and like half of the Broncos game was weird. It's just, it's like everything's there and it's coming together. Why aren't we getting the results? Like why is the quarterback making their best throw of their career 4 times a game on 3rd and 18? Like how is that continuing to happen? Yeah. And you see Carlton Davis had that every time he played man, he had him locked down. But then they kept playing that really super soft zone a lot of times. And and it's like they can't run the ball. So just like I don't understand why you're giving them 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. I didn't get it, but
yeah, Matthew, you got anything?
I wonder,
go ahead, bud.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say as well. Yeah, we'll jump off you're the other guys on, but I just felt like I still feel now there wasn't a time through the first quarter, second quarter, third or fourth quarter where I felt the Chicago Bears were a better football team than what we are, and I still think that's the frustrating thing that right now, even now, I do not feel like they are a better team than we were.
No,
the penalties just kill you.
Yeah,
that's the frustrating thing, isn't it? Like you lose to a better team and it's fine. Like, you lose to the Saints or the Chiefs or whoever, you don't mind. But you lose that Chicago Bears team, you just feel like if this is a team that's going to go to the playoffs, we have to beat those teams. And next week we'll come back and we'll be better. But right now it just feels like we're not a team that's beating the teams we have to beat.
All right. Well, that's a little unfair. I think you're thinking past history, and I agree with you. We said that against the San Diego game. We said that at the Denver game. Like, this is the team. These are the teams we come in and beat. And that San Diego game, like, we lose. I said, like, there's no roster, there's no coaching staff, there's no quarterback, there's no defense ever in the 45 years history of the Buccaneers that win that game except what we have on the field that day. Like, no other team ever wins that game. The Chargers game. But I'm with you, man. Like, it's you can't do those type of things if you expect to win. And of course it's going to be, well, it's a short, and then they had to fly, short week, and then they had to fly, and we'll get, and I get all that. But I was sitting there thinking, Brent, and this is an oldie but a goodie when you hear, you're going to hear Scott Smith and Casey Phillips and Carmen Vitale this week a lot say no one cares more than these players. Yeah. I was thinking about halfway through that third quarter, I'm going, fucking bullshit. Because now Brady, he cares as much as I care, because he gave him a talking to after that debacle of a drive where they couldn't get out of their own way. But you don't,
part of the whole game to my
but you don't do that. Like you don't put yourself in that spot. And it really put a charge in Jensen's butt, because you saw when Keyshawn Vaughn caught that ball and was running it back, Jensen was right there. He's like, give me the ball. It's like, and this is another thing. This is like the third game where I felt there was no energy from the team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where it felt like they were going through the motions almost from the snap. Now, I know it's completely unfair, and it happens to be all the games that there's no fans at all. But, you can't yell at the offense because they do such, every time they get the ball, they go down and score. They score,
Except tonight.
No, in the first quarter, they get the ball, they go down and score. Like they do it all the time. I think they're leading the league in points scored and points differential and all that kind of stuff. But it just feels like until someone gets mad or until someone gets burnt or someone starts flapping gums in a player's face, that's when things start to get going. And it took until halfway through the third for Brady to tell the offense to do it. And by then it was too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Matthew, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, we'll jump off, guys, and let you get some of the callers on. But yeah, just quickly on what Ren just said about, if just to leave on a positive note, if we can, it's just that I really do believe that, exactly like Ren said there, that Brady cares. Brady's fired up. And if there's one thing I believe in the coming weeks, is that Tom Brady will not let this team just fall apart, and he'll be fired up for next week, and I can't wait to see what he'll produce next week. So we'll hang up and listen. And yeah, thank you very much, guys. You have a good night.
Matthew, thanks so much for calling in. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you. I love getting to have those guys. You guys make sure you check out their podcast, the UK Bucs podcast, from over there, as we say, across the pond. I meant
to ask them last time if that bothers them.
Does that get old? Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you're Irish, you like potatoes?
Oh my gosh.
Shrimp on the bobby, like across the pond. Like, oh yes,
right.
Yes. I've never heard that one before. Thank you so much.
Right.
So
I wonder if they say that on their side though, at all.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. They have such a more clever one that sounds more sophisticated.
They have, yes, it's
a word that we never use, like servette. It's a napkin, by the way.
Right. Wow. Let's get back to talking about this game. Hey, we got our friend Craig in Vegas who wants to join the live stream. Let's bring him in. Craig, welcome to the show, my friend. It's good to see your face.
Hey, I know. Hey, Ryan, it's coming. It stopped now.
You're in? Craig, you're with us, buddy. Can you hear us?
It's a little bit. It's a little bit delayed.
Okay. I don't know. That might be your headset, brother.
Just go ahead and talk. We'll work around it.
Okay. All right. So listen, tonight obviously sucked for Tampa Bay sports.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
He's going to work on that and try to get that in. He's probably picking up literally the delay. We got C-Dub over in the chat room. Let's bring him in. C-Dub, what's up?
Hey, C-Dub.
Yo, what's up?
Well, you heard. That's where we're at. Where are you at?
I'm in Thonosassa, Florida.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I want to know what's up when we beat the fucking Packers next fucking Sunday.
What's up? Well, we'll be 4-2, and everyone will forget about this game and chalk it up as a blip in the road and blah blah blah. But I'm sticking to it. Like I need to see that hole on the left side of the defense, short left side of the defense, fixed up, because there's been numerous blown coverages, and guess what? Like Shaq Barrett and JPP, they can't cover that. Like, I know it's an exotic look, and you want to put them out there. Oh, and one more thing. Teams are starting to pick on Levante David in coverage, making him turn and run. This is 2 weeks I've noticed it. And he's taking bad angles as well. He has been since the Saints game. So as much as we like him, and I'm not going to sit here and say he's a terrible player and he's any of that stuff, but I think teams are making Levante David turn and run and try to chase the running backs on wheel routes and tight ends, and they're getting open. And when he's coming up in coverage, in those shallow passes, I would say 3 times out of 10 he's taking bad angles, and the guy's getting by him. So I know that's not really your question. I'm still on this game. I'm not on the Green Bay yet. I'm not on Green Bay yet. What did you think of the game?
I think if the defense can cause some turnovers off of the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, this whole Chicago Bears game is non-existent.
Yeah, it'll be forgotten by Wednesday, like it always is. As soon as the first injury report comes out, it's gonna be on to Green Bay. But we got a couple of days. We got more than a couple of days. We got about 5 days to chit chat about this.
Right. Yeah, that's the worst part. That's always the worst part about going into a Thursday night or even like a bye week coming off a loss, is because you got to stick with it for that much longer. But I mean, as you point out, C-Dub, Green Bay will make this game go away. It really will. And Green Bay is going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. And winning the Green Bay game will go a long way to reversing any questions that people might have about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now.
Right.
Because I still think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a playoff team. But we said going into this game, this was a game for the Bears to see if they were a pretender or a contender. Which one was it? And I almost feel like, and I don't know, like, again, raw emotions right after the game, no time to really think about it. But I almost wonder if the Bucs have now fallen into that category going into or coming out of this game. Do we really now, are we now really pretenders or contenders? And that's a question that has to be answered. And winning the Green Bay game, beating Aaron Rodgers, assuming they win this week and they're coming in 5-0, giving them that first L, that'll go a long way to answering that question and quelling a lot of those bad feelings that I know we're all feeling right now.
And how many offensive people are coming back for the Green Bay Packers game?
Well, hopefully Mike Evans gets fully healthy, which he hasn't been any week yet so far. Hopefully Scotty Miller. I don't think he got any more aggravated tonight. Leonard Fournette, we saw him a little bit, so we should see him back. Chris Godwin may or may not. It's a hamstring injury. Those things are always really weird. Justin Watson. Who what?
I think Godwin will be back.
I think Godwin, hopefully he'll be back. Justin Watson, we don't have any idea exactly what's going on with that injury or how severe it is. But hopefully we get Justin Watson back. And, listen, they always talk about how these bye weeks tend to come at just the right time. Well, this is kind of a mini bye week for us. And it's just at the right time, because while I think our team stayed fairly healthy through the first 3 games, the last 2 games we've really taken a beating, and we're going to be missing Vita Vea probably for a couple of weeks now, if not a much longer time period, depending on what actually happened with that injury tonight. And those are going to be killer. And in a season like this, truly the healthiest team is going to be the one left standing at the end. And hopefully we can get these guys back. So CW, you got anything else for us before we get you out of here and let somebody else come in?
Nah, man, just hopefully we pull out W next Sunday and go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Go
Bucs.
Bucs. Go Bucs.
C-Dub has been partaking.
He was partaking in the lobby, as I saw there quite often. We got Craig in Vegas back. Craig, you got us fixed on your audio there, buddy?
Yeah, is it better now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Much better.
Yeah.
If you can hear us, we can hear you. You're doing just fine.
And before you go, Craig, I just want to jump on something that Brent said. I'm not sure, and I don't think that the Bucs, well, they'll get a little bit of it, but the pretenders versus contenders, the only part that needs to have that question thrown at them is the offensive line. Because are they San Diego or are they this fucking bullshit we saw tonight? They have to figure that crap out, because that was like Donovan Smith is the MVP for Chicago today. Congratulations.
That's not good.
Craig, what you got for us, buddy?
So here's some of my 2 cents with this game. Thursday night football, first of all, is awful. It's not a good product. Every week you watch it, it's awful. I mean, so do away with it. But I know it's such a big moneymaker for the league and for the Players Association. They get the 50-50 split on the revenue, and it's a big moneymaker. But BA said a little bit in his post game, we were out coached. That can't happen when you have 50, 60, 70 coaches they have on the sideline to get out coached. This team went under 2 minutes and you had the lead on Thursday night with the other team had 2 timeouts. Run the ball a couple times, because you were running the ball well. 3 passes. One of them ended up obviously a fumble, and that really flipped the game too. Another thing too, field goals are for losers. And that's what this franchise is, unfortunately, with the lifetime winning percentage it has. when you get to 13 points, that means you've been down 3 times and you could have had at least 21, and you left a little chicken on the bone. But you can't do that under 2 minutes. Worst comes to worst is if you run the ball 2-3 times, they burn a couple timeouts. They're going to get the ball back with 40 seconds, 50 seconds left, and they're going to go for a long field goal. Only bad things can happen there. And also, you were running the ball well. Rojo ran for over 100 again too. You ran the ball well. I think you got to almost midfield on the one play, and right after that, you gave up a sack. After his best run of the night, 30, 40 yards.
Yep.
The inconsistency and the cuteness of the play calling. Sometimes you just have to play ugly football because it's Thursday night, you're short-staffed, and you just got to play an ugly style and just get a win. You can't put pictures on the scorecard that night and just get a win. So I think part of this, yes, the O-line was awful, but the coaching staff got severely outcoached tonight. Defense, like you said on Todd Bowles, they're starting to pick up that play with Levante, guys not turning finding the ball on defense. And the offense, the O-line, the pre-snap penalties, that's just a team not buttoned up on a short week. And that's unfortunate that happens too.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple of calls in that game that I was like, oh man. And what's funny is one, I wanted them to go for it and they didn't. And one, they went for it and I don't think they should have, which the first one was the 4th and 1 and we're up like 10-3 or 10-0. I think we're up 10-0 and it's like 4th and 2, 4th 1.5 when Brady did the QB sneak, like at our 30, like inside our 30. And I'm like, if you don't make this, you let Chicago back in the game right away. Then the second one was, but I understood it, but I really kind of wanted to do it when it was like 4th and 2, like around the 10-yard line, and they kicked the last field goal to take the lead with 5 minutes left. And I understand that because if you don't make it, you had a chance to take the lead with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you didn't do it. So I'm talking myself out of that right now, but I really wanted them because you knew field goals weren't going to do it. You just felt like field goals weren't going to do it, and you really needed a touchdown there. I think if they scored a touchdown there, the game would have been over. But again, like it's just.
And I agree around a couple of things you say, but you took the lead in the third quarter. Defense gets a great possession. You get the ball at midfield, and all hell broke loose with all the penalties, the holding. You got to the 35 on a great play to Brady, and then you backed it up 40 yards. Listen, some of it was bad penalties, but some of it was you just can't do that kind of stuff in that type of game. You got to know. And listen, Ryan Jensen got away with one last week, and this week he got burned with it. Not saying it should have been a penalty, but I'm sure the refs looked at the tape last week and said, boy, he's on the edge again. And this was the Ryan Jensen we saw 2 years ago that we didn't like with all the personal fouls. I also think with this too this is a game you have to win no matter what. And you want to put yourself in the upper echelon and be a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't do it tonight. You dropped down. Yep. And listen, you got Green Bay in 10 days. I hope they get some guys back. And you might have lost more of the game. And I agree with what Brent said. Losing Vita Vea, that is such a staple piece of the middle of that defense. And listen, when he got carted off and the way that ankle looked, I don't see him coming back at minimum 2 months. It's a big man to have that kind of a bad wheel. And that's a lot of rehab there too. But I just feel like, honestly, like Ren, fuck, does this franchise just hate us? I mean, national TV, this was an embarrassment overall. What happened tonight? It was a pure embarrassment of a game and all the things that happened.
Have you ever had a Thursday night game that wasn't an embarrassment as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, though?
True.
That's a legitimate question. I don't know that we've ever not had one. Except for maybe last year when we didn't have a Thursday night game.
He's trying to answer.
Hargraves made his one and only play in his whole tenure with the Bucs.
Oh, was that the Carolina game? Was that last year? That was a Thursday night game.
Week 2. It's true.
Wow, got the big stop.
And we followed it up with the Giants game.
Oh my gosh. Let's not talk about that, Craig. Let's not talk about that ever again. No, man, I'm with you. Craig, you got anything else before we let you get out of here, man?
No, I love the podcast. I listen to when I work out in the morning. I appreciate all you guys' hard work, and enjoy the weekend. And let's take a break for the weekend from Bucs football.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Thanks, Craig. Old friend of the show, Craig in Vegas. He has been calling in and now video chatting in for a lot of years. A lot of years. Ren, we're lining up. I feel like I need to give somebody the opportunity to call in because we've got a handful of people still in the lined up in the chat room, but there's a couple of people who've called in. I just haven't been able to take the call. So I will open that up. If anybody wants to call in, it's 864-729-BUCS. It's 864-729-2827. If you call in and we're on with somebody else, just hang on and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Or if the phone line is logged up, just call us back after a few minutes when it clears. You guys could do that. So I'll drop that number over there in the chat room. But while we wait on that, let's bring in our friend John. You know who it is. Frequent caller to the show. John, what's up, buddy?
John, you don't look happy. What happened?
Yeah.
John, you look like you took your jersey off there, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frustration.
Did you at any point, like, did you Hulk out and rip the jersey from your body or just slam it into the ground like Gronk slamming a spike into the end zone?
Yeah.
Because I would pay money to see that. I really would.
Yeah, but I gotta say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe we need to do the Bill Belichick way. Maybe we need the Patriot way, and maybe because then it will discipline this offensive line. Maybe we need to have them do 1,000 push-ups, except probably Marpet, 1,000 push-ups, 500 suicides, and then 30 minutes of the Superman. And maybe then they'll be disciplined. If not, every time they get a penalty, take $100,000 out of their contract. Take $100,000 out of the contract. Maybe then they'll be disciplined. Maybe then they won't know the false start or holding. Maybe then they'll learn. Maybe then Donovan Smith will be like, oh, maybe I should play. Because I'm done with him. I want Joe Haig to be right tackle and Tristan Wirfs to be left tackle. I am done with him. I don't want to see him on the field anymore. I am done and through with him. He is horrible. We are holding on to him. It feels like it's more of a burden now. It's becoming more of a burden than, oh, well, we're stuck with him. It's hurting us now more than helping us. And I'm done with him. This whole offensive line that kept all Marpet. Tristan Wirfs played his worst game yet to play.
And he still wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and then Ryan Jensen, welcome back to the same old Ryan Jensen with the same old Bucs again, where we shoot ourselves in the fucking foot. I hate this. And the refs with the DPI against Carlton Davis, underthrown, of course, and flag. And then with the Shaq Barrett roughing the passer, are you serious? I want to know all the names of the referees who ref this game, and I swear we need to make a petition to get them fired. And we need to have replacement refs. Bring them back. Bring the replacement refs back. And maybe we need to renegotiate the contract with these referees. Because honestly, this was the worst game I ever seen of referees. All these refs need to be fired right now who ref this game. Because I am done. And Todd Bowles, horrible coaching. This was the worst defense I've ever seen. What's been going on,
John?
What's going on with Antoine Winfield? Why aren't you blitzing him more? Oh, I know why. It's just so that he could cover up the mistakes of Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, and Jordan Whitehead. Because he had not been doing well these past 2 weeks. These past 2 weeks, he has been garbage in coverage. He has been blown coverage.
Listen, folks. Hey, welcome to the PewterCast Live. Welcome to the post-game call-in show. I told you all at the top of the show, this is the raw emotions coming out of a game. There is no logic right now. This is all raw emotions. John is giving it out. John, do you got anything good from the game, or is it all just shit?
Well, Tyler Johnson played well.
Yeah, had a catch. He did. Attaboy, John.
And Ronald Jones had over 100 yards 2 games in a row.
There you go. Hey, listen. I'm giving it out right now. Ronald Jones is my MVP for this game.
Oh yeah, he gets my
hands down. He is the MVP for this game.
Sword is Ronald Jones, Skull, the Lifetime Achievement Skull is, of course, Donovan Smith. The Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah, a little early
Skull.
on that right now, John, but I think that's probably how it's going to go.
Lifetime Achievement.
I can't wait till the season's over because he is gone. I want him out of here, and I hope he never gets a job in the NFL again. I hope he never gets a job in the NFL. I don't even want to see him on another team because I would feel bad for that team.
What if it was the Saints?
Maybe.
Okay.
I wouldn't feel bad then. I'll be like, okay, cool. Shuck for them.
All right, John. Anything else you want to set us straight on before you go steaming off into the sunset?
Oh yeah. Hopefully we can, health up again because we definitely need Godwin. We need all the help we can get now for the Packers game and Bruce Arians needs to freaking get out this offensive line and discipline them. I don't know how you discipline them, but do it somehow. Do it some way, somehow. I don't care.
Look. Here's how he does it, or at least this is what he has told us he does. Is he actually has like a list? It's like a list on a clipboard. This one's probably gonna have a couple of pages to it, and he puts it up on the overhead projector, and he goes through all the mistakes that everybody made and calls them out one by one for everybody. And there's gonna be a few people who's find their names up there a lot this week. And those are the people, especially those that are in contract years, that are going to have a hard time getting a new contract because they will look. I promise you this. They're going to look behind door number 2 for a left tackle. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
I want door number 2 right now.
Well, we may be stuck with where we are. We've detailed that out quite a bit, but I don't know at what
right
point.
Tackle, Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. I'm done with him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that it's as easy as that is, but something's got to be done. And John, I'm 100% with you. You got anything else for us before we get you out of here tonight?
Oh yeah, and Godwin, he will be playing against the Packers because they said if he thought they would be out for 3 weeks against the Packers, they would have put him on IR because it's only for 3 weeks. So then it would have opened up a roster spot,
Right. That's a good point. And we got a mini bye week, so that's just that much more time to get Godwin. He was a question mark. They were trying to get him in this particular game, but it just didn't work out. So, all right, John, I'm gonna let you go, man. Thanks so much for giving us a call.
You're welcome, man.
I'll talk to you next week, buddy.
I'm gonna get go Bucs, but same old Bucs.
There you go. Yeah, it's hard to say go Bucs tonight.
Go same old Bucs.
Gold, same old Bucs.
So if you see John walking around with a stiletto dagger in your neighborhood, watch out because he's slashing tires tonight, man.
Yeah.
He's looking for Donovan Smith and referee cars. He's gonna mess it. Brent, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? You never seen Animal House?
I haven't actually.
Really?
I have not.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Or if I have, I was like way young, and that reference is over my head. Definitely over my head.
Check comments on that. Does anybody know? Anybody?
Once again, I just want to give a quick shout out, guys. I mean, look, we said this a lot last year. I don't know that we've said it this year. One of the greatest things about this show, Ren, that nobody else out there, especially those just listening to the podcast feed later, is the show within a show, which is what happens over in the chat room while we go live. And the chat room is rolling tonight.
It's rocking.
Absolutely rocking.
Lots of happy fans over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, the phone number is 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827 for anyone who wants to call in. And speaking of that, we do have someone who has called in. You're on the line with Brent and Ren for the PewterCast Live. Who do we got here tonight?
Hey, man, this is Jaime from Los Angeles, man. Just watched the game, dude, and oh, my God, where do I start, man? Jesus Christ, that whole line is just the Donovan Smith, I don't know, man. Like the previous caller just said, man, we're just keeping him just because he's a burden. Like, we need to do something about that ASAP, man, because he cost us 2 drives where we could have just gone in and scored him. Instead, it was like a 30-yard gain, and it went back to like being a fucking 2nd and 30. I just don't get it, man. And then I really don't like the offensive coordinator, Brian Leftwich. I don't like what he's calling, man, in these certain situations. It's just awful. It's just really awful. And like a lot of my friends were saying it was an upset. I kind of knew we were going to lose this game. I like Craig from Vegas said, Thursday night games are just awful. They are just awful, and I don't even know why we have them. But you know, I don't. If we play like this against the Packers, we're gonna lose 2 in a row, and I feel like that's the way we're going right now.
Packers game is definitely. We've said this. The Saints game was going to be really tough. We've got this stretch of very, very winnable games. They absolutely should have won tonight, and then that Packers game is going to be a real test, a real test of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make that just because we lost tonight. Actually, I think even more so, it makes that Packers game that much more of a test. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen to the Packers this weekend. They're 4-0 right now. They could be rolling in here 5-0, which may be good, may not be. You know, they'll be due for a loss by the time they come in. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, this Packers game is going to be.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the Packers do in the regular season. They always choke in the playoffs anyway. But I'm just saying, like, just in general, this game was just bad. It's just how can this O-line be professional football, like O-linemen? And Jesus Christ, I've seen high school teams don't false starter cause a final penalties in a high school game, man. Jesus Christ, it's bad.
I'm gonna help you out here a little bit. I don't want you, going to bed.
There you go. Hey, Ren.
Yeah.
You were a little quiet there. I was getting worried.
Oh no, I was just letting you talk, man. Just letting you vent. I get to talk.
No, I know.
I'm gonna help you out, man.
They made me have to smoke a cigarette, dude. Jesus Christ.
I might have. I'm going to. Okay, imagine this: you're in the Buccaneers locker room, and Donovan Smith is standing right in front of you, and he asks you, "How did I play?" Go.
Am I getting a great score, or am I just telling? Because I don't want to cuss too much.
Well, you don't necessarily have to curse, but yeah, like if Donovan Smith, right now, Donovan Smith's right in front of you, and he's like, I don't think I played that bad, and you say,
I mean, he cost us 2 drives, man. When the offense was like starting to roll, I mean, Ronald Jones, oh my God, I think he's starting to come into his own. He's running tough. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of runs in there where the line give up, and he gets those extra 3-4 yards on his own.
I'm with you.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think Ronald Jones had a really good game. Yeah. Probably one of his best games. And it looked almost like a carbon copy of the game before. Again, have to work on his hands. I'm excited about Keyshawn Vaughn. Even though he got lit up. I'm really very early in the game. I think it was our first drive, maybe the second drive. Keyshawn Vaughn had to step in the hole and pick up the blitz, and he did. And that was nice to see. Like, I'm really excited going forward about that guy becoming a bigger role on third down, and then we don't really have to worry about Ronald Jones' hands as much. At least not in pressure situations or high level situations. But yeah, I mean, I feel you. I feel your pain. It's just every time you think that the Buccaneers have taken 2 steps forward, they have a game like this, and you're just like what? Like how can you be that stupid? Like, how can you be that undisciplined? Like, how can you do that when you know that, like, you're shooting yourself in the foot? I don't even understand it anymore. You just gotta kind of shake your head, and then I'm gonna listen to some press conference. It'll make me feel a little bit better, and I'll swallow whatever bull crap the coaching staff gives me, because I have to move on with my day, my week. But yeah, it's just right now it's like screw you, screw Donovan Smith, screw the offensive line, screw Todd Bowles' stupid exhaust port defense, screw soft coverage, screw Tom Brady because he can't count, screw Keyshawn Vaughn because he can't.
Carlton Davis looked like Humphreys, what's his name, Hargraves. Oh my God! I was just like, why Why is he giving Allen Robinson 7 yards off the ball? He's not a burner. Like, he's not going to beat you over the top. Like, Jesus, let the man play man on man. That's his best attribute. I mean, that pick that he got, I mean, yeah, Robinson kicked it to him, but still, like, he was playing good man.
Yeah, he's played excellent man. Like, he's played excellent man for 2 years, and he keeps getting jobbed on DPI calls. Like, I have no problem with the way Carlton Davis played. I think Jamel Dean had an awesome game. Best game I've seen him have all year, easily. But they finally threw at him. No one's thrown at him all year.
Yeah, Dean came up big, man. I mean, I wish he would have held on to one of those 2 picks he had in the drive before we just ran 16 seconds off the clock. It's just like, oh my God, man. Leftwich, he amazes me sometimes, but then sometimes I'm just like, no, man, come on. Like, Jesus. Like, I just don't get it, man. This team, I've been a fan since 98, and just seeing this team, like, I rode high on 2001 or 2002, man, but Jesus Christ, since then, it's just like, it's sad that our last good quarterback before, I guess, Brady was Jeff Garcia, man. Jesus Christ. I mean, I had high hopes for Winston, but he just kept stabbing me in my heart every time. It's
okay, we've regressed to Jameis Winston, and that's where we cut you off. I hope we made you feel better. You can get some rest tonight. We're right there with you, brother. We feel your pain. Thank you for calling.
All right, man. You guys take care, man. I love your guys' podcast, man.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate it. I got to get this guy in. This guy,
is that that beep beep?
Every time that's a beep beep, that's somebody calling in. I can't mute those. But it just is. This guy's blowing up every other minute. Who do I got here on the line with us? You're on with Brent and Red.
Every time that's a beep beep, that's somebody calling in.
Turn us down in the background.
Zach from Tampa, Florida.
Great. Hey, turn us down in the background.
Yeah, I got you down in the background.
All right.
Zach from Tampa, Florida.
What's up, Zach?
How's it going, guys? I've listened to y'all for a while. First time calling in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate you guys, and I didn't listen to the entire live stream, but I got in the second half. From what I've heard, a lot of people are upset. I feel like the team played really, really well and got pretty screwed. All in all, by the referees, a couple calls. The last 2 minutes of the first half were awful for us.
Mm-hmm.
Let me stop you there, Zach. Zach, let me stop you. You said you feel like we played pretty well, except we got screwed by the referees. Where do you think the Buccaneers played well tonight?
I feel like we ran the ball pretty well to start. We managed the game.
Okay, I would not disagree with you there.
Up until what's that?
I said I would not disagree with you there. I would agree with you on that one.
No, we ran the ball well and we controlled the game up until 2 minutes left in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Typical top bowls. Brandon actually retweeted me going into Mike Smith's defense in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, which is just an awful vibe that I really disagree with. But you know what? And he actually stepped it up, and I don't feel like we played bad. There was when Zach Barrett got called for that defensive offside, which was a false start. That was probably the biggest game changer of the entire night, and I'm pretty more upset about that than anything, to be honest. That really turned the ball game around.
It was either that or the Keyshawn Vaughn catch fumble, one of those. But yeah, because they both went to their touchdown.
And we really got screwed on both of them.
Yeah,
and all in all, I feel like the team played pretty well, and I'm really not that upset with the ball club, to be honest. I mean, I feel like considering the injuries, the offense ran efficiently. We ran the football, we threw the football well against a good defense, and I can't be upset with the fact that the referees fucked it up. Excuse my language.
I cannot. You know what? I kind of understand where he's coming from. Like,
yeah,
I thought the offense played fine. You know, they didn't get the big plays and they didn't, punch it in when they had to, but they moved the ball okay. And the defense did fine. It wasn't a suffocating defense, but, on the the 2 touchdown drives, the Bears definitely got help from the referees. And, I guess the only place you can really place blame, if you're looking like you had a bad game, it's the offensive line, and I got to put Tom Brady in there because for about a quarter and a half.
Really, it's Donovan Smith. If you're really going to put it on somebody, it's Donovan Smith.
Right, but Jensen had a holding penalty, and Kappa had a holding penalty. Kappa's penalty was garbage. Worse had a couple penalties back to back there. Donovan Smith had a holding penalty and 2 false starts.
One of the penalties that were called on Words was actually on Donovan, I believe.
Okay, but that quarter and a half where Brady was seeing ghost, really hindered the offense there. I thought, and he wasn't sort of giving his team the best chance to win during those spots. But again, I'm not going to stand up, rant and rave, and say he's crappy and overrated and all that kind of stuff because I just saw what I saw, last Sunday.
And we got the ball back with 5 minutes left. We should have been able to get a first down. A winning football team gets the first down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Even through all the struggles, that's what you do. As a winning football team, you get a first down there, you win the football game. And we just couldn't do that tonight. And there's a lot of excuses that we can make, and it sucks. But the offensive line, which was starting to get a little bit of national media look, it's the best offensive line. They just they got the national media, and it didn't show up. So
that's how they do. Zach, you got anything else for us before we let you go, buddy?
I'm going to put that on Donovan Smith, and I'm going to go ahead and shout Donovan Smith out that he needs to step it up or he's going to be cut immediately.
Yeah, I don't think there's a person in Bucs Nation who would argue with that.
I would.
Too much tonight. Too much tonight.
I do not want him cut immediately.
Let's talk about that tomorrow. For tonight,
don't cut him immediately.
Tonight, cut them all. Cut the whole team.
They're all fired.
We'll take the Titans left tackle and we'll throw him at right tackle as soon as he tests the COVID. That's negative for COVID.
There you go. All right, Zach, I'm going to let you go, man. We're going to let somebody else call in. All right, buddy?
All right, homie. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks. All right. I'm going to bring in Prime here. He's been waiting patiently. Our good friend, Prime. We got a caller on the line. You got caller. Just wait for us. And Prime, you're on the line, buddy. Go for it.
Bro, I'm sick of this shit.
Say it. Preacher, brother. Go.
Fucking sick of this shit. Oh my fucking God. Okay. Listen, I had thoughts, like, hey, we can talk about this, we can talk about that. Fuck all that shit, man. Like, this game was one I fucking disagree with the last person who says, hey, the team didn't play that well. Fuck that shit. Or the team play well, the team played like fucking shit. I'm gonna tell you why. So you cannot have a game where for all the yards that you put up, for all the big passes, for everything that you did, you shoot yourself on offense in the fucking foot with dumbass penalties. At this point, I'm completely over Ryan Jensen as like, yeah, he's the hot-head offensive lineman who'll get in somebody's face. Fuck that. Be an even-killed offensive lineman who won't kill a drive with a 15-yard penalty. Like, if you're going to actually be a leader on the offensive line, it actually starts with simple shit like that. Not, hey, man, you know what? You got fired. You don't know how to handle it. And you're not fucking Mike Evans, who can get a goddamn penalty but also win a game. There's a fucking difference. And for the love of God, Donovan fucking Smith. Oh, my God. I truly don't understand. You know what? I had to go back and look at our drafts for the past 6 years. I want to know how we fucking got here. And I'm looking back, and I'm going over 6 years. In the first 2 rounds, we drafted as many offensive linemen as we had drafted tight ends and kicker. That's on fucking Jason Light. When people say, and they're right, when they say we don't have a better fucking answer than Donovan Smith, they're actually right. And if somebody in the chat disagrees with that, I have one name for you: Gosder Cherilus. Does anybody remember that Cowboy game when he came in for like a half and damn near got everybody killed?
Yeah, I do.
It gets worse. So saying nope, Haig would be just as good. No, fuck that. This goes on Jason Light. He's put us in a position where the best left tackle we have is the man that is currently leading the league in penalties. And I don't even know if this is a fucking real stat, but drive killing bullshit. He has to be.
That's a next gen stat, Prime. It's a next gen stat.
The DKB, I believe it's called the DKB.
Yes, he's leading the DKBs, bro. He's 100% leading that shit. All right, Bruce Arians. So I give him credit for coming out, and I heard somebody say that Bruce was like, "Hey, coaching lost his game." Well, you know what, Bruce, you goddamn right. It did. Coaching lost his game. We were up 13 to what? 3? With
no, it's 13-0. Yeah,
13-0
at some point. Yeah.
2 minutes ago. Okay, they have the ball. They wind up scoring. Cool. When you have 1 minute and 48 seconds, and you have a running back, by the way, and we'll come back to this shit, a running back who's averaging 6.3 yards a carry. Not only do you have a running back who's averaging 6.3 yards a carry, you have no Chris Godwin, hobbled Mike Evans. I might as well say no Scotty Miller because he
was barely in the game.
Yeah, he
barely
got
in the
one
game
target the whole night, right?
Yeah.
You have look like Gronk was hobbled.
Yeah.
So when you have your, let's call it top 4 weapons at wideout hurt, everybody would say, "Oh, clearly this means we're going to run the ball." And then you get into the game and you realize, shit, we can really run this thing.
Yeah.
And you decide that instead of running the ball with 1 minute and 48 seconds to go, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just throw it 3 times, burn off 16. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Then go to the end of the game. Because just in case Arians did not learn his lesson in the end of the first half, at the end of the second half, he's like, you know what? Let's just try that shit again. We still have the same running back who's averaging 6 yards a carry, and all we need to do is get a first down. Wait a minute, when did we need to do that? Oh, that's right, last week. And what happened? He got it. We run the ball the first time, lose 2 yards, and get bitched out, thinking, oh shit, that must mean that we can no longer run the ball. As opposed to doing what a good coach would do and burn the fucking clock. And trust the running back who's been carrying you this whole game. Trust him to get the yards. And if he doesn't get the yards, well, fuck it, make them burn all the timeouts. But burning out 16 seconds, that's it? You burn out 16 seconds. You might as well not even taking the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, Prime, you're forgetting this. If you add up the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, and you add up the 2-minute drive at the end of the game, it's almost 30 seconds.
I could slap the shit out of you.
Prime, if you do, I will pay every bill that you ever incur from that. Just let me videotape it.
Wow.
And
why? That's fine. I mean, Prime, if you give me half the money, I'm in. Like I'll drive to wherever the hell you live. Use my phone.
I rescind my offer.
I'm saying, I appreciate that. I needed that laugh because, oh wait, I saw, I forget her name, but I saw her tweet out saying that Jamel Dean, by the way, who's a house in the fourth quarter, I got to give him his credit. Jamel Dean, I believe he had 4 or 5 pass breakups this game, which is insane.
Right.
He said that the DC came over to him at halftime and said, "I want you to be more aggressive." Now, I don't know if Sean Murphy-Bunting was not allowed to be part of that conversation or if he was excluded out of the room when these words were said. But I would suggest if these words have this type of effect on a defensive back, they should be said to Sean Murphy-Bunting at the beginning of every quarter. They should say before. Matter of fact, when he walks in the fucking building, I need you to be aggressive today. I need you not to, on 3rd and goddamn 12, sit 15 yards off. We sent a cornerback our way to Houston already for doing that shit.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand, the first 2 weeks, SMB was actually playing very well.
He was.
Yeah.
So
And Brian, this is something. Here's the thing. Emotion aside, which I'm feeling from you all over the place, in some real analysis, I think we have to ask this question over the course of these next 10 days: is what is going on with Sean Murphy-Bunting? Because you're right. He played really, really well the first couple of weeks, played well towards the end of last year. But these last 2 weeks, something seems to have switched. Or I don't know that it's possible for cornerbacks to go into slumps, but something's off with him, and it's been off with him for 2 weeks in a row now. And I don't know what it is. Ren, you probably have a better bead and able to put your finger on a little bit more about what exactly it is. Go ahead. Go ahead, because we need to know this. This is something we need to be discussing this week.
I cannot say this is a fact, but this is what I feel. I feel like they played more man the first couple of weeks, and Sean Murphy-Bunting was able to come up and make the tackle on his guy and, keep him for the short gains and not getting past the sticks. And then they started getting beat. Guys were biting, guys were taking bad angles, guys are looking in the backfield, and they started getting beat over the top. So right now, I'm not sure Todd Bowles trusts his young guys in high leverage situations to play man. So they're playing a lot of zone. And when they're playing zone, they're playing soft zone. So we're starting to see, I joked about it that, Scotty Miller looked like he was being covered by the Mike Smith Buccaneers in that last game on his touchdown. Like, there was no one in the screen. But I'll tell you what, the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a little bit, but 2 weeks for sure, there has been a lot of catches made by opposing wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs where there's no Buccaneer in the screen. And it's not like they're deep. Like, they're shallow and there's no Buccaneers in the screen. And we're talking like 5-7 yards. And, they're able to pick up the first down. And also, I know we had a caller 2 weeks ago talk about how Carlton Davis is the best cornerback tackler in the National Football League. Nope. He ain't. He's missed. I think he missed 2 tonight, and of course 2 he's missed that went for touchdowns in week 1 and week 2. So I want Carlton Davis to pick it up there as well, but I'm willing to overlook that because of how great he is in man to man. Like, he's awesome. He's really, really good in man to man. I can't blame the defensive line anything. It's just, and I'm gonna, I really don't go back and look at the film because I'm lucky enough to be able to dissect and see things during the game and be able to explain them. But I'm going to go watch this, and I might go back a couple of games to see if there's just some type of zone, because it seems when they play zone, they're giving up chunks and easy first downs. And I don't understand why he doesn't play more man, because it seems the team plays very well in man. Like when Jamel Dean with his 5 pass breakups, like those were all in man, as far as I remember. Carlton Davis is all over his guy in man. Like, why are they playing zone? Like, what are they afraid of? So that's sort of my theory right now, is that when the reason Murphy-Bunting's been erased the past couple of weeks is because he's in zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna definitely be listening for whenever you guys go back and look at that, and I'm going back and look at the tape as well. One of the things I'll say when you're asking what talking about man versus zone in our team, I'm 100% on board with you, because the cornerbacks, the DBs, and we drafted a shit ton of DBs, and the DBs we drafted are largely in college, largely man DBs.
Yeah.
Carlton Davis is a press man DB. Like, this is what he does. His weakness coming out of college was zone. So then why not, when the game is on the line, and why not lean into what they do? And if the answer is that SMB, you don't believe that he can cover man right now because he could be hurt. He could not be 100%. And if that's the case, you have to come up with something else. This cannot be the answer as the DC. It just can't be.
Mm-hmm.
The results, even though we won last week, right? SMB gave up, and somebody can check this. If it's not right, it's damn near close. SMB gave up 7 for 7 for like 130 yards and a touchdown. That can't be the answer.
Right.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
not as down on the defense as you are. I mean, they only gave up 19 points.
So no, listen. I'm not
that's
as
the name of the
down on
game,
defense.
right?
I am down on this game. And what I'm down on, and by the way, everybody's gonna say it, and it's flat out true. Fuck the refs. Okay? Fuck the refs. The Bucs did things in this game themselves to lose this game. But these refs also, when you get to the point where announcers are saying multiple times on a nationally televised game, hey, when they first they lead off with like, I'm not quite sure.
No, prime. My favorite line, and I tweeted it out in the middle of the game, was Joe Buck saying, "I'm looking for a flag because we've been conditioned to do that in this game." It was the best line I've ever heard Joe Buck say in all the years I've watched football and Joe Buck's called a game. It was the absolute best. It was golden. I loved hearing him say that because it was true. You condition people and you start looking for a flag.
Yeah.
You just it's something else. Prime, I've got a couple people lining up, so I want to get to them. You got one more thing and we'll get you off here, okay?
Make it good.
Look, I'm hoping tomorrow I'll be calmer about this. I'll look at this and we'll see some good stuff. I'm glad that we found Ronald Jones, that he can actually, he's a good running back. He may be the best running back on the team, right? So hopefully he can do what?
I was just going to say it's the first time, we talked a tiny bit about it our last pod. This is the first time he's been handed the whole entire load. Was late last year and this year, the 2 games that Fournette's been out. And late last year, he got his first 100-yard game, and these past 2 games, he got 2 more. Like, I think he's ready. Too bad he can't catch.
Trust him. he got to learn to catch. BA needs to trust him. He's ready. Yeah. Give him 22 carries or whatever the hell it is. And we had one running back tonight, and he stood up under the beating and made shit happen when the rest of the offense had a thumbs up the butt. Okay.
Look, I will say this. I will say this about Rojo, and I have had this feeling for a couple of years. The tendency in the league right now is to do this running back by committee. You sort of spread the ball out. Yeah. And I get where that makes a lot of sense. Anecdotally, it always seems to me that the teams that have one running back. Did I say wide receiver by committee? I meant running back by committee.
No, you said running back.
Okay. When they have one running back, one main running back who gets that 20 touches a game, that running back tends to show up really, really well. And we saw that tonight with Ronald Jones. And again, another tweet I sent out. If this is what Ronald Jones looks like when he gets 20 carries a game, 20 touches a game, then give him 25 and make sure that you almost force it. You have to give him this many because, as Ren just pointed out, he now has 2 back-to-back 100-yard games in a not so great game tonight. Right. And, the Chargers game was fine. First half was a little shaky, but
he's been
anyway,
the offensive bright spot the past 2 games.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's why he's going to get that. So Prime, I'm going to get you out of here, but thank you so much. And we're definitely going to be talking to you again. Okay.
All right.
Much love, Prime. Much love, Prime. All right. We got a caller who has been waiting patiently on the line. Who do you got here? You're on the line with Brent and Ren.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. What's up, buddy?
Hi, I just want to say thanks for bringing me on the show. Let me unload on you guys.
Well, first of all, thank you for holding because I know you were out there for quite a while. Go ahead, man.
No, yeah, of course. Let me just say a couple things first. Let me say something about the game tonight, and let me just look at the bigger picture after. Listen, they were on a short week today. You know how these Thursday night games play out. Mm-hmm. You got to travel on the road. You had injuries. Godwin was out. McCoy was out. you lose O.J. Howard, Justin Watson. Leonard Fournette was like an emergency running back, but I don't think he even played a snap today. At least I didn't see him on the field. So, barring all those things, I think they played pretty well. Listen, I've been saying the defense is great. They lose Vita Vea tonight. Hopefully, it's not anything serious. But listen, like Rex said, you hold them to 20 points. I think if you go into every game, you say, hey, we're going to hold you to 20 points, you'll take that every day. So I'm not worried about the defense, and I'm not worried about the offense either. Listen, Chris Godwin's going to come back. Watson's going to come back. Gronk and Brady are there. I don't have any worries about this team. Listen, I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan ever. But the one thing I said when we've got Tom Brady, and I said it, he's going to put up big numbers. Todd Bowles is a great defensive guard. They're going to be fine defensively. The biggest problem that I said is, listen, this franchise, Tampa Bay, they've been a mediocre franchise. I think they haven't been to the playoffs since 2007. And this is what I said when Brady got here. The one thing he'll miss is the structure that New England had, top to bottom. You saw the penalties today. I think Joe Buck said it during the game. I think Tampa Bay is the third most penalized team in the league so far. And you saw it today. I think in one of the drives, they have like 7 straight penalties. Those type of penalties lose you games. When you play the good teams, especially on the road in the playoffs, stupid penalties and turnovers are going to cost you games. And that's what happened today. Listen, the protection wasn't great. Listen, Khalil Mack's an elite pass rusher. That's what those players do. You just got to take your hand and say, he's just better than your guy. It's the stupid penalties, the turnovers that is going to haunt this team later in the season. I said it. The one thing Tom's going to miss is the structure. They don't have a winning culture. What has Bruce Arians ever won? Who on this team besides Gronk, Brady, has won a Super Bowl?
Okay.
Been to maybe and Dominican too have been to a Super Bowl. They don't know how to win. They're not. This is a team, a franchise that's not used to winning. They don't know how to win big games. And that's something they'll get better at later in the season. I'm not worried about the offense or the defense. I think this team is complete, top to bottom. If they're young in the secondary, they'll get better. They don't have a winning culture, and that takes time.
Okay, a few things. One, what has Bruce Arians won? Well, he's won the Coach of the Year 2 times, and he's never had a losing season as a head coach before last year. He, had a team.
Super Bowls. Tom Brady. Listen, Tom Brady didn't go to Tampa to win some playoff games. He's never won anything as a head coach. But he was an offensive coordinator. He's had a great quarterback. I think he was.
Okay, Andy Reid. Andy Reid hasn't won anything. So, like, Andy Reid got his first Super Bowl. And he's been coaching for what, 20, 22 years? Bruce Arians been coaching for what, 6, 8? I mean, you're triggering me because you're saying a lot of things that like you can't prove. Like, he's going to miss the structure. Prove it.
What?
Like, he's going to miss the structure. Prove it. There's not a good culture. There's not a winning culture. Of course, not a winning culture because they're not winning, but they're above 500. So I guess it's a winning culture. I mean, those are things that
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When was the last Tampa Bay went to the playoffs? Wasn't it 2007?
What does that have to do with this year?
I'm going to explain to you. Listen, when you're in New England,
no, I don't want to hear it because it's a bunch of voodoo gobbledygook. I don't care. I don't care. And you can't convince me otherwise.
Explain to me why Tampa Bay has had a losing season.
I don't care. It does not explain why. What explains why is stupid fucking penalties. It's shitty defense. It's Mike fucking Smith is your defensive coordinator. It's Jameis Winston throwing the ball 30 fucking interceptions. It has nothing to do with fucking sage spread around the place to give it good harmony aura. I don't care.
Let me explain.
No.
Let me explain to you. So you don't think culture matters?
Oh, no, I can. Ren, I got you, brother. I got you. But, dude, I've been talking with this for Ren for 5 years. No, he doesn't think culture matters. I can just answer that for him.
Culture matters. But what builds culture is winning.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have culture and then you win. You don't have a good culture and then you win. It doesn't matter. Winning builds culture. Period.
No, good leadership builds great players and great leadership, which Tom is. He's a great leader, builds culture. You gotta listen, you gotta learn how to win first. This team doesn't know how to win.
You
don't have any winners on this.
No, you don't learn how to win first. You don't. Why? Because I've seen coach after coach, really good coaches, go to shitty teams and then they win the next year. Like, I've seen it. It happens in all sports across everywhere. You do not have to learn to win. That's some bullshit that fucking fans say to make them feel better. So next year will be the year. You don't have to learn. You don't have to go through fires of hell and have your heart ripped out and lose playoff games to learn how to win. Nick Foles took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. He didn't have to learn how to win.
They were a great team with Carson Wentz. They were doing great with Carson Wentz before he got injured. What are you talking about? They were a great team with Wentz. He just had to
How did they
injured.
get there? By winning. Did they have to learn how to win under Carson Wentz?
I mean, he was an MVP candidate before he got hurt, so I think they were doing
Yeah, he
pretty well.
was. And Tom Brady's MVP candidate right now. But that has nothing to do with culture. If he's an MVP candidate, that makes you learn how to win because you're an MVP candidate. Did they go through the playoffs year after year and get beat and not win any games and have their heart ripped out? Did they have to learn the hard lessons of life by skinning their knee? No. They freaking have a good team. They have good players. They had a good coach. They put a run together and won the Super Bowl. It has nothing to do with fucking culture. It has nothing to do with freaking. It doesn't. God, it's you can't quantify it. So quit telling me you can.
Let me ask you a question. What is the explanation? Listen, I think they were showing it a stat the other day, and I can't verify. I think in the last 10, 15 years, Tampa Bay has the worst winning percentage of all the 4 major American sports. What's the explanation for that? Listen, you have to be.
They suck. They fucking
it's almost impossible to be that bad.
It's impossible that bad? I just watched it. For a decade and a half. Don't tell me it's fucking impossible to watch it. They fucking suck. If they had great culture, whoa, they should have been a playoff team. You're talking about fucking trolls, rainbows, and unicorns. I don't give a shit what you're saying. It doesn't make any sense. It never has. This is competition. This isn't fucking crafts with.
How do you change it?
How do you win? You just win. You win. That's how you change it. You win, as it always has been since throughout history. You don't have to fucking get your aura straight before you can win a game. You just win the game, and then winning becomes contagious, just like losing becomes contagious.
I mean, which has been with Tampa Bay. It's been contagious, obviously. Listen, let me give some context. I'm a big Patriot. I've been watching Brady since early 2000s.
I don't care.
I've seen every throw he's done. I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. Listen,
no shit. I don't care. I don't care. You're a Patriots fan. This is a Buccaneers podcast. You're a huge Tom Brady fan. Quit telling me that Tom Brady needs to do what the fucking Patriots do to win. Quit telling me that Tom Brady can't fucking win without the culture and fucking New England. No one fucking cares.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, man. That's not what I said.
All right, get caller. I want to help you out. Just go ahead and get to your point, and we'll move on with this. Go ahead.
Listen, yeah, thank you. Listen, let me just say, I can tell you guys aren't used to winning, obviously, but let me just say really quick. I didn't say you needed a coach. What I said is, I said this team's going to be fine. Listen, I think they said it. Listen, there was no training camp, basically no training camp, due to COVID, obviously. This team, Tom's not used to throwing to these receivers. The timing is off, I said it, and I said it week 1 when they lost Martin. This is a team that's going to be fine down the line. Barring any catastrophic injuries or any of this COVID, these sicknesses, this is a team that's going to gel in continuity. They're going to get better. Listen, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. If they can stay healthy, they're going to get better with continuity down the line. Now, let me clarify what I said. What I said was, in New England, they had guys who have played in a bunch of big games, and you think that doesn't matter, but you have experience winning. You've played in 9 Super Bowls. You have a coach who's used to winning. You know what it takes to win. You saw those stupid penalties. You didn't see that in New England. You had 8 penalties for 109 yards today, if I'm not wrong. You didn't see that in New England. Because players were smart. And it seems this team is really talented, but they don't have a lot of smart football players. Listen, Bill Belichick says all the time, situational football. In the big situation, listen, that Jason Pierre-Paul, I think Shaq Barrett, roughing the pass, was a horrible call. The officiating was bad today. But in situational football, this team isn't very smart up to date. But they're going to get better. I'm not worried. Listen, I think this team's going to win it all. They're going to get better later down the line with more continuity, more. Chris Godwin's only played 2 games this year. He's going to get used to time.
So where are you going? Where are you going with this? Hold on. Where are you going with this?
I just think we're over exaggerating over one bad game. Listen, they were on the road on a short week with tons of injuries. They lost by a point. I think people over exaggerate week to week. This team's going to be fine.
Yeah. No, and while you certainly may be right, this is the spot where I jump in to remind people this particular show.
This is what it's for.
This is the overreaction show. This is the raw emotions. We get to the logical one a little bit later. But I think at the end of the day, we will come back to what you just said was they lost by 1 point, short week on the road. I'm still going to go back to playoff teams win the games that they're supposed to win. Tons of injuries. Yeah, there's all these excuses, but I'm telling you, I've been podcasting about this team for 5 years now. Ren's been in it for 5 years. He's been a fan of this team for twice as long as I have. And we've both been around this for a long time. What we saw tonight is old Bucs. What we saw tonight is Bucs beating Bucs. What we saw tonight is what we've been podcasting about for the last 5 years. And I'm not giving them any excuses.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not giving them any excuses. We're just not. So
it's a losing culture.
We could certainly have a conversation about that. I've learned just don't have that conversation with Ren. And truthfully, in the sports world, that is a conversation that either you believe in culture or you don't believe in culture. It's either or. There's no middle ground. And kind of like what do they call that? Bias, fan bias, whatever. Like you see it however you see it. If you believe in culture, then you look at everything through the lens of culture. If you don't believe in culture, or if you think winning comes from culture or culture comes from winning, either way, it just depends on how you see it. So I've got a couple of people lining up, callers, so I do want to move on. Thank you for your call tonight, and hopefully we hear back from you.
Sorry.
With Ren is apologizing for all of that. That I think might be one of our PewterCast shorts for this week, because that was fun. I got to tell you, Ren, after 5 years, that was fun for me to watch. Just because like I watched him just circling down a hole, and I was like, I know where Ren's going with this. I know exactly how this is gonna go. It was great. for confirmation bias. Thank you, Daniel, over in the chat room. He's confirmation bias. That's that's where we go there. Look, here's where you want to know, not to go. Longtime listeners of the PewterCast know that I tend to be more on the side of where the caller was. Yes. That winning comes from culture. Ren has always been on the other side, that culture comes from winning.
Yes.
Where I am now is I don't fucking care anymore.
Thank you.
Just win.
Yeah.
I don't care in sports if it's culture first or winning first. I don't care. Just win. Yeah. Just win. I'm not unbiased unbiased credentialed media. That's not who I am. Just win the fucking game. That's all I want to see. And what we saw tonight was not good enough to win the game. And I got to tell you what, even if they had won the game, I would still be pissed about what they put out on the field. Maybe a little less pissed, right? But I'd still be pissed because this was not a good game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was not. And there was somebody in the chat room who was saying they're a Bears fan. They thought that this was a good game. They think that the Buccaneers are a playoff team. They were very nice, very cordial in the chat room. And that's fine. I'm pissed at this team tonight. As a Buccaneers fan, as a 20-year fan who has been through good times and who has lived through a last decade and a half of bad times, every year for the last 5 years has been the year. This year is no exception, even probably more so. I am pissed about tonight because tonight should not have happened. Watching Tom Brady chew some ass out there on the sideline at that offensive line was one of the best things I could ever see in my life because I wanted to do it. And judging by the phone calls that we have received tonight and the people who have called in and watching the chat room, everybody else would love to be able to do that. I saw Jenna Lane put out a tweet who said that she quoted Harold Goodwin, the offensive line coach, who said, Tom Brady is welcome to come into my huddle and yell at anybody he wants. And I said, go freaking get it, because I don't know if that needs to be, I don't know if that actually needs to be a good thing or not. I don't care. But right now, somebody's got to get their ass chewed out. A whole bunch of people need to get their ass chewed out. So anyway, Ren, an hour and a half later, lots of callers.
Has it been already?
It has been. It has been. Lots of callers, and I want to thank everybody who has called in tonight. This show, guys, this really is one of those shows. It is all about those raw reactions. We'll get to the other stuff a little bit later. I do want to go ahead and let everybody drop your skulls and swords. We'll get to that part of the show here very, very quickly. Drop your skulls and swords in the chat room. The skull is the dumbass of the game today. The numbskull. The sword is the guy who is our MVP for the Buccaneers, even though we lost. That's the guy who made the biggest difference. So who do you guys got as your skull? Who do you guys got as your sword? Ren, I'll give it to you first, man, if you'd like, because I definitely know who I've got already, and it's been this way. Hasn't changed at all over the course of this conversation. Who do you got as your sword and skull for the game this week?
Sword, I'm giving it to Jamel Dean. I thought
Jamel Dean, really?
Yeah, I thought that he had a great game. I thought
really
no one's been throwing at him all year, and they did tonight, and he stood up. You know, Prime said it. I didn't see the tweet, but he's like 4 or 5 pass breakups. He did his job. You know, yeah. Change the skull away to Donovan.
Sorry,
Smith.
I just put up a comment from the thing that said, "Can we change the skull to the Donovan?" It was hilarious. That's Prime. That was hilarious.
Who's your sword and who's your Donovan Smith? You know, I feel like everyone's going to
this week. I'm going to give my Donovan to Donovan.
No. I think, you know, everybody, like, you want to give it to everybody. Like, everyone's going to give it to Donovan. And so you kind of want to look somewhere else. Like, you know, who else didn't really have a good game and share some of the blame in this. You know, I don't think the Jensen penalty was justified.
I don't either.
And like, I don't think the Kappa's holding penalty was justified. You know, Worth, I think, gave up 2 sacks. The first one, I don't think it was his fault at all. I think Brady turtled. So you know, like, there's nobody else to give it to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to give it to anybody on defense. Someone played terrible. I could give it to Devin White for breaking Villave's ankle. Maybe it's broken. So yeah, I mean, I just have to, like, Donovan Smith just has to, he has to wear it, man.
Donovan Smith. I do want to adjust this. Somebody in the chat room said that there's absolutely no running back rotation tonight. That's not a thing we need to be worried about. Here's the deal. They had Rojo. They had Keyshawn Vaughn. Keyshawn Vaughn did get into that. Then he went out with an injury after a, I don't know if it was a good hit or not. I really don't, but it was a hard hit. He goes out with an injury. Leonard Fournette was there as a very emergency backup. Should not have actually been active, probably, just in case. Shady McCoy was out. Kenjon Barner, the guy that we had deep in the practice squad, got popped for PED, so he's out. The only guy we had was Rojo. There was nobody else to rotate through. So I'm not going to fault anybody for not having a running back rotation throughout the course of this game, because there was nobody to rotate to. And by the way, Rojo was having a fucking great game. He really was. And you ride the hot hand. And that's why, for me personally, my sword is going to Rojo. It's going to Rojo.
Nice.
And I think wasn't he my predictive MVP for this game?
I doubt
Maybe
it.
not. It might have been Devin White, actually. I don't know. It was I forget who it was. Was it Devin White?
Because mine was Devin White.
And I agreed with you. That's right. Rojo was my MVP for 2 weeks from 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe. Anyway, but Rojo gets the sword for me. The skull, I don't think it could be anything else but Donovan Smith. Look, you want to know when Donovan Smith really lost me? All right, and I'm going to say it. I said it last year, and I'm going to say it now. I don't know that I was ever on the train, but if I ever was, I am off the Donovan Smith train. And I don't really know that I ever was on the Donovan Smith train. I really don't. But for whatever it is,
I was on the platform. I wanted to get on.
Fair enough. There you go. I was on the platform, wanted to be there, but I'm not, and I'm off the platform now. In fact, I'm underneath the car as it is pulling out of the station and just getting hit by it. That's the way it feels right now with Donovan Smith. There was a point when Donovan Smith gave up a sack from Khalil Mack, and Khalil Mack goes in, rolls over Tom Brady, and then he turns around and he gets right in Tom Brady's face, and is there for 3 seconds easily. I don't know what he was saying in that moment. I don't know what he was doing. And all Donovan Smith, who is standing right over top of him, just patted him on the head. Just patted Khalil Mack on the head. No, you're an offensive line. You're a fat guy. You're a mean guy. You're a nasty guy. Somebody gets in the face of your quarterback like that, fine, they sack him, whatever. but they get in the face. You're picking that guy up and you're throwing him to the other 50-yard line. And yeah, I know there's not another 50-yard line because there's only one in football, but you're throwing him to the other one because it's in another fucking stadium. You know what I'm saying? You don't let somebody do that. And when he sat there and petted the guy on the head, no, you are not tough enough to play this game. You are not mentally prepared to play this game. You are not prepared to play this game long-term. You have been in this league for 6 years. I've said this since game 1. This is 6 years. This is who you are, Donovan Smith. Every bit of criticism you have earned, and it's done. It is done. We are out. You get the skull. There's a reason people want to rename the skull to the Donovan because it's hilarious, but it's true. And that's who I give my sword and skull to.
Did you had to get all mad because I did? Did you feel
No,
left out?
Because I didn't grab the microphone like you did and scream into it.
Why somebody's not a Bucs fan going to come here and tell me? Like,
you know what? I gotta say this though. Well, listen, I will say this as we get out of here. We have had a lot of opposing team fans in this chat room tonight. There's been a lot of Bear fans that have popped in.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of fans of other teams. And guys, listen, I will tell you guys, you're all welcome. I like old school's old rule. Everybody is welcome. Just don't be an asshole. That's our only rule. But we have had, Ren, absolutely record-setting numbers tonight. And I don't know if you've been able to see it on your side, but it has been amazing to watch you guys out there. So thank you so much to everybody who has tuned in live on whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, or over at our website, thepewtercast.live. I think that's probably going to call it for tonight, though, Ren.
Yeah.
We will be back later. Probably not this week. It's a bye week. We hit it really hard this week. Bam, 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 bam. So Ren and I are going to take a couple of days off, but we will definitely be back next week. And we've got a midweek show coming out next week. We've got Buck in the News show, and we'll be right back for the Packers game. However that works out, I'm going to the Packers game. It's one of the few that I'll get to go to this year. So we'll see exactly how that works out. I think we've got a plan. Should be fine, but we'll have to work on that. Ren, tell the folks where they can find you out there if they want to slide into your DMs and talk about all this good stuff we've talked about today. Maybe talk about culture. I don't know.
The best place to find me is on Twitter at Rendax, REN_DAXT. I am always down to talk Buccaneers football. But if you do want to talk about culture or the boogeyman or ghosts or rainbows, Santa Claus, swamp ape, and any of that crap, go to Facebook because I ain't having it. But if you do want to talk Buccaneers football and you want to keep it a little bit private and we'll put it out there in the Twitterverse, you may slide in my DMs and I will talk Buccaneers football with you as well there too, I think. That's how you say it.
Wow, you are thrown off of your game tonight. If you guys want to get in touch with me, you can find me at Brent Allen Live across all the social medias. And if you want to get in touch with the show, you can find us at thepewtercast.live out there on the web. There's all kinds of ways. You can email us. You can text message us. You can leave us a voicemail right over there, right there on the website. Really cool stuff. You get all the stuff that we're doing over there. You also can go over to our YouTube channel, leave us a message there, or find us out there on the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are out there as well, too. And you guys can email us to thepewtercast@gmail.com. I will say, please keep in mind anything you guys send us, we might use on an upcoming episode of the PewterCast. Ren, that's going to do it for us for tonight. I think it's time to go to bed. I think it's time to put this one to bed and wake up and see how we feel tomorrow. Maybe Saturday. So until next time, guys, we'll close the show out.
Did I ever tell you that in baseball, I went to the state championship?
We'll close this one out as always, folks.
Did I ever tell you that?
Mean? Why? State what?
In baseball, we went to the state championship. We lost.
You did?
You know why we lost?
Why did you lose?
Well, you got two choices. I didn't believe in the tooth fairy, or the other team was better. Which one do you think it was? Yeah, of course you do. Of course,
the other team was better.
Yeah. So
you beat yourself. That's what it was.
Yeah, we beat a lot of holding and roughing the
passer. And it was the umpires and you beat yourselves. The other team actually didn't have much to do with it.
Yes.
There you go. Go Bucs.